Look at me actually keeping up with my schedule. I'm so proud of myself. Welcome back everyone. In today's video we are going to be doing a try to get ready with me, getting this green look right here. So one thing that I have decided to make with my schedule on my channel is to do a PR haul and unboxing, products I received in PR, products that I purchased myself. Then I do a get ready with me and a first impressions with those products from the haul. Then I come on to do another get ready with me and give my thoughts on the products as I've been trying them for the last couple of weeks. And then we'll finish off at the end of the month and do a keep or declutter and my full reviews, decide what I'm going to keep in my collection and what I am going to get rid of. So that's kind of the schedule that we will be doing along the way. For today's video, I have products that I'm using from Nomad Cosmetics, their Ireland palette. I have the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation and Concealer, the LYS Cream Blush, some lip products from Hard Candy and Girl Scouts. And before we jump into getting this look, I do want to say there's a sponsor on today's video, and I am getting to work with Blueland today. I've worked with Blueland for quite some time. I'm also a very faithful customer to them as well. So during the video, I'll be sharing with you some more of my better for you around the home swaps that I am making and why I'm so excited about a toilet bowl cleaner. Tell me you just turned 37 without telling me you just turned 37. I will have a link to Blueland in my description box, and that will get you 15% off your orders as well. So thank you to Blueland for sponsoring this video, and thank you all for your continued support. Let's jump into how I got this look. Okay, well, welcome. So let us get started. I am gonna start with complexion like I normally do. So like I said, we are doing the Makeup by Mario products, the Surreal Skin Foundation and Concealer. And then I did also get a double-ended brush. This one we have, it's the F4 brush. So it says, so I use this side for foundation and this side for concealer. So I'm gonna start with the foundation, and I have the shade 5N. I did actually just get out of the shower. I just body showered today, and I did add on some sunscreen. I use my one from Bliss, the tinted sunscreen. I love that one so much. So I'm just gonna do a little bit here. One thing that I've realized with the Makeup by Mario is that I definitely don't need a ton of product, and I still get some really good coverage from it. I have used both the brush and used a damp sponge, and I like them both. I really do like this brush because I feel like it's very soft. I feel like it's easy to apply the product. Nothing's looking like super streaky on my skin or anything like that. And I like that it's the double-ended brush. I like that you get both the foundation and the concealer sides on here. I'm someone who lately I've been into like dual products and that sort of thing. So I've been really liking this brush. If you're in the market for a new, especially double-ended brush, this could be a good one. But one thing that I thought with the Makeup by Mario, when I did my first impression video, I felt like it was a pretty positive first impression. You know, when I got done, I was like, oh yeah, you know, this was good, this was good. But I wouldn't say there was a lot that I was like, oh, that's really good though. You know what I mean? And sometimes as I'm going along and doing my makeup and talking to the camera and, you know, thinking about a million other things, I'm just kind of like, oh, like we're just like sitting down, doing our makeup, hanging out, chilling, right? And then I'm like, wait, you're actually supposed to be like trying to figure out if these products are good or not. So sometimes I can tell back in editing how I'm actually feeling. And when it came to the Makeup by Mario products, I wouldn't say I was like overly blown away by them in my first impression. Even though at the end I was like, yeah, you know, everything looks good. I wasn't like, wow, but my skin looks so good. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that I really realized, again, when I was going back and editing. And I think it's another reason why I think it will be really fun to do these sort of like check-in videos instead of just jumping right into a review. Because I will say, after doing the first impression, it's not that it didn't make me want to use the products as much, but I also have had a lot going on this month. I just got back from New Orleans, so I was there for 5 days with my event planning company, Creators and Friends. So I do have a vlog up of that, and I will also, I think maybe there should be a haul up as well from everything that we received from our time on that trip. But basically myself and 37 content creators went to New Orleans for a week and just hung out and was able to work with some brands and just see the city and all those fun things. When I was traveling, and especially like being around a lot of other people and everyone's vlogging and I'm vlogging and photos and all the things, I wanted to bring the makeup that I knew that I was going to feel very comfortable in. And so for foundation, I brought the Urban Decay Hydromaniac. For concealer, I brought the Tower 28. And that's actually all I brought for my complexion products. Like I didn't bring multiple foundations, multiple concealers, or anything like that. And then again, when I have events around Las Vegas, especially we do a lot with like videography and photography, I wanted to make sure that like I was loving the way my skin looked. And because of the first impressions, I was like, I don't know if the makeup by Mario is really going to be it. So I haven't been using it as consistently as like if this was going to be a review video, I would feel like I was lying to you, because I don't feel like I've tried it enough to be able to get a full review. But I have a few more thoughts in my mind since it's not just a first impression. Like this isn't the second time that I'm applying these products. So hopefully that makes sense. But one thing with the foundation is that I do feel like it actually gives a decent amount of coverage. I can deal with some hormonal acne, especially along like around my mouth and like jawline and all of those things. And I feel like it does a really good job covering while still being skin-like. I would say this is like a medium with a oomph coverage. Like it's not like, to me it's not full coverage, but like medium with an oomph. You know, if I could be the copywriter for these products, that is what I would say. So I like that. Again, I think a brush works really nice. A sponge, if you do want to have a little bit more of just like that straight medium coverage, a damp sponge will do it nicely for you as well. But there's been a handful of times that I've gone to put on the foundation and been like, okay, that actually covered my redness pretty well, because it was just a few weeks ago that I was really struggling with acne. It's calming down a little bit now, which is great. But I was having to do like a full acne coverage routine, and I really feel like with the Makeup by Mario, kind of don't need to do like every single step like that. So I do appreciate that it's something that gives me a little bit more coverage. And to me, there's nothing that how do I say this? There's nothing that has really jumped out at me of like, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that. To me, it's just there's other foundations that I like my skin more. And sometimes that's just the way it is with makeup products, especially these days. There's a lot of good makeup products that gets released. And so again, there's nothing that like I look at it, I'm like, no, not so much. Like it makes my skin too dry, or it's too cracky, or it doesn't last a long time. There's just other foundations that I think make my skin look better. And so for me, as of right now, I don't think the Makeup by Mario is going to become a favorite of mine, but I also don't think it's like a total fail. I think one thing for me is maybe it makes my face just look like a little bit flat, which that's something that I can, you know, kind of correct, if you will, with powders and, you know, bronzers and glowy blushes and that sort of thing. But when I put this on, again, if I think about something like the Urban Decay Hydromaniac, it just kind of gives my skin like a nice healthy glow. Whereas this one, I feel like my skin just looks a little bit flat and maybe a little bit more on the dry side. I do have dry skin, so again, maybe like it just accentuates dryness just a little tiny bit. Nothing too crazy. I think the wear time is nice on it, but again, as of right now, I don't think it's going to become a favorite of mine, but I also don't hate it. I do think the shade match is also really good for me, and again, this is 5N. For the concealer, and I totally forgot, it says I literally sit down and just start talking, but one thing that I realized that I like to do with this is to apply it one eye and then blend it out, and then the other eye and then blend it out, because it is a pretty quick drying concealer. Sometimes what I notice with a quick drying concealer, I'm just gonna do my brows while I talk, interest of saving time and all of that. But sometimes what I can find with a more quick drying concealer is that it can look a little bit dry on my under eyes, and that's something that I noticed with this as well. Again, it's one of those that it's like, it's not the worst concealer I've ever tried. There's just other concealers that I think are a little bit smoother on my under eyes and don't look quite as dry as the one from Makeup by Mario. I will say though, what I like about this one is I think that it has a little bit more coverage to it. And to me, it almost kind of like, I think I was saying this in my first impressions too, is that I feel like it kind of like erases my fine lines and my dark circles, and it really kind of like rejuvenates my under eye area, which I appreciate that. This could be something where like maybe if I do have, you know, an event I'm going to or something along those lines, and I really want my under eyes to look smooth and younger and all of those things, doing something like a hydrating eye mask before time, or really doing a lot of skincare prep, I don't think that would be a bad idea at all, and that might help it be, you know, a little bit smoother on the under eye area. So again, the concealer is one that intrigues me a little bit too. I think I just need to play around a little bit with best ways to apply it, again, especially if I'm wearing it on a more like long, I was gonna say long-term basis, but you know, if I'm gonna be wearing it for like a prolonged period of time, I bet there's some skincare that I can, you know, kind of get down so I can make it last a little bit longer. So I'm excited to keep trying out the concealer because I like the way it looks on my under eyes. I just wish it wasn't quite as drying and so quick. Not only drying just formula wise, but also just like it looks a little bit more dry in the under eyes. I think if that wasn't happening, I would actually really like this concealer, but I'm curious if you've tried either the foundation or the concealer and what you think of them. And especially with the concealer, like if you find it more drying too, have you tried any ways to, you know, kind of counteract that? I would love to get your opinion. But so far for the Makeup by Mario, I think they're like in the pretty good category. Probably not gonna be a favorite though. Before I do my powder, I'm gonna do my bronzer and my blush. I do have the cream blush from LYS, so I'm gonna use the Rephr Beauty bronzer stick as well. I came so close to purchasing the, what is it, the Too Faced just came out with a bronzer stick as well. I had that in my cart for a hot minute, and then ultimately I decided not to do it because I'm really gravitating more towards powder products right now. Again, I got the LYS and PR and was like, okay, I'll give it a try. I'm gonna use the Rephr B02. I used this brush in my first impressions as well, and I used it for bronzer and blush, and honestly, that's just what I've been doing with this because I've been trying to do my Rephr Beauty bronzer stick a little bit more when I do the LYS also. So I've just been like going back and forth with this brush, so I will have it linked down below. Of course, I do love the Rephr brushes, and they just came out with a couple of new ones. I came close to purchasing it and decided not to because that I'm just going for the more powder products, and I felt like I was adding so many things to my Sephora cart. I've been posting so many of like trend videos right now on Instagram. I don't know how it started, if it started when I was at Creators and Friends, or no, I think it started when I started doing some with Ashley. I was doing, there's this trend that goes around where you say basically like red flags in guys or girls or whoever you're dating. And then like I'll be like walking and Ashley will say like a red flag, and I turn around, I'm like, wait, I'm like interested in like the red flag, right? It's just supposed to be like a humorous trend and all of that. So we did one night. I just thought it would be funny to do it with Ashley because she's like very happily married, but I was like, I don't have anyone else to do this with, so you have to do it with me. And she was like, yeah, sure. You know, she's always like, she's always down to do whatever with me. So we did it, and it had like a good amount of views. So we did it again, and it had a good amount of views. And then when I went to Creators and Friends, there was a few, you know, trends going around, like short form trends. So I had like Molly do some with me and Angie, and we did some as a group. And the videos seemed to be doing well, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep doing trend videos right now. Like, these are kind of fun. So I started doing them kind of based around like the Sephora sale, and there's one where like you're punching back and forth, but it's like my thoughts of like, I want a low buy, but my Sephora card's $700, like that sort of thing. And one was like, look me in the eye and tell me that you didn't spend $700 at Sephora, and the song's like, all of my eyes, I can't see. So I've just been having fun making those, but truly my Sephora card, I was just like, never heard of this brand, but I should try that lipstick. Never tried anything from this brand, but let me throw that in there. A fragrance, don't need one, but sure, here we go. And then today I panicked because I remember that I had the Dior, where are you? I just put you in here. I had the Dior Backstage foundation, the reformulated one. I had it in my cart, but I don't remember if I picked the right shade or if I just moved it right from my loves list. And sometimes, I try not to do this, but sometimes on my loves list, I just put like whatever shade comes up, I click loves list, and then I put it in my cart, and I've bought the wrong shades before because of that. So I'm like, shoot, I might have bought the wrong shade. So I guess I can actually look at my email, can't I? I can see it in my email confirmation, but I'm a little bit worried I got the wrong shade, but that's okay. We can always do an exchange if I did. I also, for whatever reason, like I literally don't know why, but I was trying to like buy so fast. I don't know why I was like checking out so fast. But also, I mentioned when I did my Sephora wishlist video that I'm no longer rouge this year. My low buy was so successful last year using the LYS Blush in Focused. Again, same brush. My low buy was such a success that I lost my rouge status. So there's that. So I wasn't able to shop. And honestly, I think the sale started like the day that we were wrapping up New York. Like, I wasn't gonna get a chance to be able to shop the sale anyways until I was home and sorted out with my life and all of that. So when I finally did place my orders VIB, there was a few things that were out of stock that I was pretty sad about that I really wanted. So that's okay. That's okay. I still have a decent enough of a haul coming. So my order hasn't shipped yet at the time that I'm filming, but hopefully it won't be too much longer before it's here. And for this LYS blush, I will say, again, I'm more into powder products right now, but this is super beautiful. If you're looking for a nice cream blush, this might be kind of like, I don't know if I was gonna say a silent standout from my haul, but this is a really beautiful blush. I think that it's very easy to apply. You can see I just use this dense brush from Rephr. I just picked a little bit up from the stick directly and then blend it right into the skin. I think that it's a beautiful, almost like a, I want to say like a terracotta cinnamon type of shade. I don't know what the actual like shade description is, but that's kind of how I view it. I think that it's really beautiful, and even when I was doing my first impression and I was doing like powder and stuff over it, you could still see the blush at the end, and that's kind of what I've noticed with this. Sometimes when I use cream products, I'll do them first and then I'll like finish off the eyes, the rest of my face, and then I'll come back and add a little bit of powder product. But I've really felt like since I've been trying the one from LYS, I don't really need to do that. Sometimes it just kind of helps to make it a little bit more long wearing and those sort of things. But that's a really nice formula, and it's been a really nice, having a really nice wear time to it as well. So I've been impressed with that blush from LYS. At the point in my makeup routine where I usually do a little bit more concealer on any of my breakouts, but honestly, like I feel like my skin has not really been in too rough of shape lately, so I'm just gonna go right in with my powder instead. So at this point when I was doing my first impressions, I tried a couple products from Ofra, one of them being the Glow and Grip Primer. So one thing that I do when I am like more struggling with acne is when I go to cover it, which would be this step in my routine, like foundation, concealer is done, brows, bronzer and blush are done, then I go into covering acne. Typically I start with a gripping primer. Like I also really like the one from Urban Decay, their All Nighter, the one from e.l.f. Cosmetics, their gripping primer. I like to do that and then lay down the concealer and then do powder. So that's what I was using this one from Ofra for. And I will say I don't really use primers all that much myself. It's pretty rare that I do. Oftentimes I'm just like doing sunscreen and then going right into my makeup routine. But I did use it when I have been trying out the acne routine. Now this one, since it's a Glow and Grip Primer, I was like not really sure how I was gonna feel, since typically I wouldn't use something that's like more radiant on breakouts because you don't want to like draw attention to them. And this was one, when I do put it on my face, you can tell that it definitely does give you a bit of a glow, but I never really felt too bothered with the acne, and that's probably because of the concealer and the powder and all of that. But I never felt like this primer was like shining a spotlight on the acne when I used it in that way. But this is another one where I think it has a good marriage of being a gripping primer while also giving you a glow, because I know a lot of people, myself included, are really looking for like kind of like glowy, healthy looking skin, and I think that you can really achieve that from this primer. If I was a primer girly, I think that I would be wearing this a lot more. Regardless though, I think this is going to be an interesting product for the warmer weather months, and I want to keep using it as I go on and decide you know, what I'm keeping and what I'm decluttering. Is it worth it to keep a primer in my collection when I don't use them a lot? But I think it's going to be interesting for like my pool bag and things like that when I don't want a lot of makeup, just because I like the glowiness that it gives my skin, but I'm not going to use it all that often. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those things, like if I felt like I needed a primer more, I think that this could be a good one. I just don't know if I'm going to get the most amount of use out of it because I just don't use my primers a lot. But if you're looking for something that's gripping and is going to keep your other makeup on you, then this could be a good option. Or if you're looking to have a little bit of glow from your primer but without being like a tinted sunscreen or even like a skin tint or something like that, then this could be a nice 2-in-1 option for you. So those are a little bit of my thoughts on the Ofra Glow and Grip Primer. And then I am also going to use the lavender powder to apply this to my under eyes. And I liked the lavender powder because it does give a little bit of a brightening effect. So this is one that I use for just on my under eyes. I don't use it on the rest of my face. Again, especially as someone who is struggling with acne right now. Again, I just don't want to like call attention to the acne. But I have been using this on my under eyes and I really do like it. It's nice, especially for those mornings where I'm feeling a little bit more tired and I feel like my under eyes are not in like as tip-top shape. I do feel like it gives a nice brightening finish to them. The powder doesn't feel like heavy at all. It doesn't feel like it's like caking up my under eyes. It's very smooth. It's very lightweight. I've tried this powder with a handful of my concealers, Natasha Denona, my Tower 28. I've used it with Charlotte Tilbury, with the Makeup by Mario. I like the finish to it. So if you're looking for a brightening powder, that could be a good option. I know Pat McGrath just came out with one, her powder in pink, which again, like can help with the brightening effect. On a, you know, different alternative, if you don't want to spend as much money on the Pat McGrath, you could get the one from Ofra. I do have an affiliate discount code with them, which is Samantha. But again, this has been kind of like my main under eye powder right now. I really do like that brightening effect, and I think especially again as we go into the warmer months and I get kind of even more into no makeup looks, I think that powder is going to be really handy to have because it just kind of like your under eyes. I don't know if that's like, really, people should hire me for their marketing, like medium with an oomph. And then for the rest of my face, like in my first impression, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier powder. And again, I think doing this has been pretty fine the past little while for me when it comes to my breakouts. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of this powder because this is just a translucent powder versus being any sort of brightening. So I'm just going to hit those spots and then our face is done. All right, before we jump into the eyes, I do want to take a minute again to thank the sponsor on today's video, which is Blueland. So actually in one of my recent hauls, I don't know if it was this haul, but one of my recent hauls, I did actually show you that I had gotten a few new products from Blueland. So I've been able to work with Blueland for a while, but in addition to any products that they send me, I do also purchase their products on my own as well. I'm a customer of Blueland myself because I really, really love their products. And one thing that I have been trying to do is being a little bit more aware of the household products that I am using around the home. That comes to my cleaners, like I've changed out my glass cleaner, my bathroom cleaner. But one reason that I really love Blueland is because I've also been trying to, again, be more aware of how much a single-use plastic I'm using. And when I thought about my laundry pods and also my dish detergent pods, those all come with the plastic all around them, which is not great for a multitude of reasons. So even though something like cutting down single-use plastic, it can be a little bit overwhelming and intimidating, I find by starting small and making little steps and little changes along the way can really help build up to, you know, better changes for you. So one thing that I started doing first with Blueland was switching out my household cleaners. So now instead of every time that I go through a bottle of like glass cleaner, instead of throwing away that plastic bottle and then going to the store and buying a new plastic bottle, you just have your one bottle and then you have tablets that you go and you refill them into the water. And then your tablets have no single-use plastic on them. Same thing when it comes to the toilet bowl cleaner. This is what it looks like, and this is just ready to go. You just pop it in the toilet, you wait a few minutes, and then use the brush to clean it, and you are good to go. I also really love that they come in these little containers too. I just think that's so cute and such a nice way to organize it and like have it look cute and organized. I've never been like the aesthetic girly, don't get me wrong. Like I've never been like, I love watching the home edit, but I could never do anything like that. But these make me feel like I could be that type of girl. Love the scents on these. The toilet bowl cleaner has like this really yummy, like lemony scent, and it's just glorious. And I have had no issues. I've been using these for a while now. I've had no issues with like my clothes are still coming out nice and clean. My dishes are still coming out nice and clean. And to me, it's just another small way of making better for me changes around my home. So I've loved being able to work with Blueland for the past while here, maybe like a year now. I've been using them, but again, when I run out of products, I do purchase them myself as well. I do have a link that I'll put in my description box, and that will get you a 15% off your orders. A lot of different options on the site. I haven't tried absolutely everything from Blueland yet, but I am slowly making my way there and making these little changes as I go along. And it might sound strange, but the toilet bowl cleaner I literally was so excited for. I can't, like, I don't know how to explain it to you. And I love how easy it is. Instead of like before I had the liquid and would like have to like spray it all around. This is so easy. I just pop it in, and then honestly I usually just kind of forget about it for a bit, and then when I come back I'm like, oh yeah, and then just take the brush and everything just cleans so easily, and then boom, I'm good to go. I love that. So again, big thank you to Blueland for sponsoring a portion of this video. I will have that link in my description box, and I do hope that you will check them out. All right, I'm gonna jump over into my eyes now. So I'm using the Nomad Cosmetics Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. This palette is so pretty. I do love me a good green eye look. So when I saw this palette being released, I thought it was so beautiful. I also thought it was so fun because I actually went to Ireland earlier this year. I did my first group Sam Squad trip. We went to Ireland for 10 days. I'm also half Irish, so when I saw this palette, it just brought back so many good memories of that trip and the experiences with all of the women who came to it. I am also hosting co-hosting a Austin, Texas meetup June 7th through the 9th. There's more information on my Instagram, which is MARCHBEAUTY, and I'm hosting it with my friend Aniela Kanikvis. So super excited to see her again in June. I'm actually booking my flights today. So I have them already done. Southwest is having a sale, so I was like, might as well book my June flights. So I'm booking my flights for that today, and I am also going to Greece in October, and we have one spot left on the trip. We have one spot left on the trip. There's gonna be 20 of us going to Greece in October, and also actually Angie's going with me on that trip as my +1, and I'm going to Italy with her on her trip for her +1 as her +1 in August. So much travel. Okay, and I'm about to do, well, I'm probably, okay. Let me think about what look I'm gonna do, because I actually really wanna use Cliffs of Moher is the shade, but I still am gonna use a little bit of green. But it's so funny because today, one of the first things I saw on Instagram was that the Packers are playing in Brazil this year. I've never been to Brazil. I would really like to go. The Green Bay Packers are my team. And so I'm like, oh man, should I go? And it's September 6th, which I think, I can pull it off. I can pull off those dates. I'm not anywhere at that time. I have a trip at the end of the year. Actually, Creators and Friends is going to Palm Springs at the end of September. I have August, but we'll be back in time. But also, what would be my wedding anniversary is September 7th. So I usually like to do something a little bit more fun around that time. And what's more fun than going to Brazil to watch a Packers game? Tickets aren't on sale yet, so I'm gonna have to see how much the tickets are. Obviously, I have to look at the flights and all those things. Do I have anyone to go with me? Am I going alone? I don't know. But I was like, can I do Iceland in July, Italy in August, Brazil in September, and Greece in October? That would be bananas. That would be absolutely bananas if I could pull that off. So I kind of want to use Wild Atlantic Way first. Yes, that's the shade we're gonna start with. Got my Sigma switch here. Again, I think I mentioned this in my haul. I really need to clean my Sigma switch actually. But I love my Sigma switch so much. I use it all the time. It's always sitting right here on my vanity because I love it. So what did I say? I'm using Wild Atlantic Way. I'm using a Singe Beauty brush. This is the E06. And I was mentioning in my first impression that I was gonna try to get a code with Nomad Cosmetics, and even before I could reach out to Nomad, someone commented and was like, oh, I got this palette, it was on in my DMs or something like that. But someone was like, oh, I got the Nomad palette with your code, and I was like, what code? But apparently I do have a code. It's Samantha. Huh, who knew? Not me. I mean, I'm sure I probably knew at some point and just literally forgot, but I do have a code with Nomad, and it is Samantha. So you can use that if you want to get anything from the website, including this palette. But I'm just taking that shade and kind of running it all over the lid and into my crease. And we're just gonna do a little shimmer on top. I don't often do much with my eye looks. I don't use a ton of different shades or anything like that. Kind of go back to the same technique over and over as well, but it's what I love and what I prefer. But sometimes when you use something like a green shadow, it kind of looks like you put in a little bit more time, you know what I'm saying? This palette has been so beautiful, and I really enjoy the formula on it. The mattes have been so easy to use. The shimmers though are phenomenal. I swear indie brands have some of the best shimmer formulas out there. Honestly, there's just so many that I want to do. I think I was gonna do Cliffs of Moher, but I think I'm gonna do Savage Beauty. This shade is so stunning. Wait, did I use this last time? Did I use this in my last one? It's the shade that I keep going back to in this palette. I might have used this last time, but I can't help myself. I literally might be doing the exact same look that I did in the first one, but it's the look that I keep going for in this palette, and I just think that it's so freaking stunning. Did I use Savage Beauty? Why did I think that I used something else in that first impression? But now I'm like, I don't know if I did. Because I think I did a pretty similar green and gold look, but it's you barely have to touch the shimmer, and it just is wet looking, and just, I don't know, it's just so freaking beautiful. So this palette has definitely been a standout to me, especially in just the haul in general that I did, but also just I haven't been trying a ton of eyeshadow palettes lately. My focus has definitely been more on like lip products and that sort of thing, but this palette is so stunning, and I just love the good memories looking at an Ireland palette brings to me. Like, it really brings me so much joy. I always say that I'm not gonna do a wing, but like I think I'm really gonna like try to not do a wing today. But isn't that so fun? Like, it's so simple, it's so easy, it's just so pretty. So I'm just using some of my L'Oreal Infallible Grip eyeliner for my waterline, and then I'm just gonna do a little bit on the lower lash line. Again, I'm trying so hard not to do winged liner. I don't know why, like I just feel like some looks like just don't need winged liner, and I feel like especially for more like green, I just don't really feel like it needs it. So I'm gonna do a little bit still of Wild Atlantic Way and Bunratty Castle. So a little bit of these right here, but I have definitely been a fan of the palette. If you are in the market for a new one, or if Ireland speaks to you, or indie brands, or green eyeshadow, anything like that, and this could be a fun one to grab. Again, using another Singe Beauty brush. This one is the E02. I'm just kind of smoking out the lower lash line. Clean it up a little bit here with my puff. Okay, and then for mascara, so I was just kind of like, what mascara do I have in front of me? Today I have the Benefit Fan Fest. I might have used this in the last video too. So I have a little mini of the Fan Fest. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my mascara before we finish off with lips. So for lips, I'm gonna use the Hard Candy and Girl Scout collection. So in the first initial impression, I used the shade, ooh, I think it's like, Coconut Caramel in their Velvety Smooth Lip Marker, and then the Thin Mints Lip Gloss. So for this one, another lip liner that I've been trying out is the shade in Trefoils, something along those lines. And then for the gloss, I'm gonna use this one, and this is in Sweet Hydration. I'm gonna use this purple gloss. I think the glosses are pretty similar, so I've really just been using the Thin Mints one, but it says this one is in Coconut Caramel as well. The Thin Mints one is in Thin Mints. So we're gonna try this color combo. I didn't really love the lip liner in my first impression, and I'll apply it and tell you why. So for me, how it says it's like the Velvety Smooth lip liner, I actually prefer my lip liners to be more on the matte side, and that's kind of like me with lips anyways. Like, I prefer either like a matte or like a gloss or an oil, but kind of more of like a satiny finish is just not really my favorite. And I feel like it's super creamy, but it's almost like too much. Like, I feel like it could be like going all over the place at any time. I also feel like sometimes with my matte lip liners that they just stay in place a little bit more. I find with this one, it kind of feathers out quite a bit. And for that reason, it just doesn't make it my favorite. And same as the Coconut Caramel, I feel like these all kind of pull a little bit more of an orangey tone on me, which to me can also make the lips look not as white. Like, it almost makes them look a little bit more on the yellow side. I prefer something that's gonna be more nude or nude brown, whereas this definitely pulls on that orangey side. So the lip liners are definitely not my favorite, but I will go ahead and top it with this gloss, even though, like I said, I think they're all just, you know, a pretty sheer gloss. Let's have more of the coconut scent to it, where the other one definitely does smell like Thin Mints. All right, so that is the gloss. The glosses, I'll say, again, I've mostly been doing the Thin Mints one. I do really like the way that this smells because Thin Mints are my favorite. Box of Thin Mints that I got, I think I actually got them from Singe Beauty. That was destroyed so quickly. I ate those so fast, let me tell you. The glosses though, like, I like them, but again, like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I don't like it for this reason or that reason. There's just other glosses and like lip oils especially that I just enjoy a little bit more, but lip liner is definitely not going to be a favorite of mine. The glosses, I feel like they're okay. Like, if you need a new gloss, you know, from Hard Candy, they're more affordable, but I don't think that they're going to be a favorite of mine off the bat. So this is the final makeup look for today. Those are some of my check-in thoughts, how it's been going with these products. Not a ton of standouts to me besides the eyeshadow palette from Nomad. I really do like the LYS Blush and the Ofra Lavender Powder. Those are kind of my favorites. The Makeup by Mario, I'm still just trying to like figure out best ways of like applying them. I think I like the concealer more than the foundation. at this moment. Are, you know, just a little bit of a miss for me, but I'd love to know if you've tried any of these products. Again, my next one for this, I'll be deciding what I am keeping and what I'm decluttering and give my full reviews on these products. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Another big thank you to Blueland for sponsoring this video. I will have that link in my description box if you want to check out any of their products and start making some better for you swaps around your home. Other than that though, I'll see you in the next one.